Paul James here, and in this video, I'm going to show you how to land clients using Upwork. Alright guys, so we're doing things a little bit differently in this video. I've brought in an expert, his name is John Shea, and I'm going to interview John and basically find out what he's doing. You see, John lost his job at the SEO agency that he used to work for, and when that happened, he needed to find a way to make a full-time income, so he started actually leveraging freelance sites like Upwork to land clients, and he's doing some crazy things like landing $1,000 a month SEO clients just using Upwork. And in this interview, he's going to break down some tips and strategies that he's using to land these clients. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and jump into it. John, thanks for coming on my YouTube channel today. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Paul. I guess to give a little bit of my background, I'll give kind of the quick version. I've been doing internet marketing for about 6 years, and it was about 2 years ago that I started to get really a lot more interested in offering, website design and doing SEO services. I ended up teaming up with someone by the name of John Haver to start a private blog network, which I'm sure depending on where some of you guys are at, you've probably heard of private blog networks when it comes to SEO. So that got me a lot more interested in offering marketing services to businesses. And I started helping on the side. I started working with a couple companies and had a couple monthly clients. Things were working out really well. And all around the same time, I ended up losing my job, and my clients decided to kind of walk away. So I went from doing really well and kind of went down to a point where I had to literally go back to taking unemployment. So I realized—
You're talking about the agency, right?
This was actually at the time I was working for a company doing e-commerce, and I was actually part-time, like doing my own thing with my own brand entity, I guess. And I was unemployed for a couple months, and I decided to go work for an agency. I got an opportunity after a couple months. Decided to go work for this agency locally to me, and figured I would use that as a learning opportunity. So I worked with them for about a year, and what I realized very quickly was that they didn't really do a whole lot of SEO. Like, their SEO was just writing content. They didn't do any backlinks or like really anything like that you should have been doing. Like, the on-page SEO was like terrible for all their clients.
How much were they getting paid to do that? Like, what were they billing people?
Yeah, so they were charging their clients like anywhere from, I would say on average, it started around $1,000, and they would also offer other things too, like graphic design. They would have a website that they'd be paying monthly for hosting. But if you figured all in all, like outside of the website and doing some basic graphic work for the initial site, maybe changing some coupon banners every once in a while. Yeah. The biggest focus really would be the SEO. The owner was really big on AdWords. Like, that was his thing. He wrote a book about AdWords, and he seemed to know a lot there, but even that area kind of lacks. Like, they were manually doing a lot of their like calculations to determine like how well people were doing performance wise. Mm-hmm. So as I was there, I kind of like taught them SEO. Like, nobody there really knew it, and it was a small team. There was only I think about 5 or 6 of us, and that was including a writer, a graphic designer. Yeah. There was a guy there who programmed, but he like really wasn't. He ended up kind of becoming an account manager who'd work with the clients, but he really was more of a programmer. Like, he wanted to do software and stuff. Did like theme development for the WordPress designs and stuff. Okay. But so what ended up happening was I just found myself like managing over 30 clients, and most of them, ranging anywhere from paying $300 to upwards of like $2,500 a month. And if you figure you take an average $1,000 a client, I was basically managing like over $30,000 a month of clients.
Yeah, and that's crazy.
I was doing all the work, and outside of AdWords really, and it was just kind of, it didn't make sense to me. So I started exploring other opportunities to go out there, and I kind of stumbled upon Upwork. Yeah. Wasn't really taking it all that seriously because, of course, I could only do it like part-time here and there. I ended up actually finding a plumbing company, which was what this particular agency worked in. They were mostly like plumbers and HVAC. Okay. In terms of the niche they tackled. So they ended up, I found this plumbing company off of Upwork, and I brought them on board for like $2,500 a month. And I got the first month like free, but he didn't pay me any commission after that. And I was kind of like, ended up giving me a raise, but all in all, like the raise really probably only added up to maybe like $200 or $300 like after taxes a
Gotcha.
month.
Okay.
So they kind of, and then I had upsold a lot of other clients within the business, like adding on like content writing, or some of them I would do AdWord, like bring them on to like AdWords. And I just kind of felt like I wasn't getting what I should have been getting paid, like sure it was a job and like that made sense, like you get a raise, but why not just do this myself? So my boss kind of caught on that I was starting to do some of my own stuff on Upwork, and basically ended up getting let go about a month and a half ago. And I decided to hit Upwork just really, really hard. I said I'm going to do like 10 proposals a day, and
That's awesome.
I've managed to, bring in like thousands of dollars of clients.
That's
Just doing
insane. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's crazy, man. Props to you on that. I know, like, whenever someone's in a position where like they have to like really like get down to the wire, and like you're like dependent on your success, it seems like that's really when you start to really give it your all and really, make it work. That's kind of the position I was in at one point too. I was living in my brother's garage, and it was like, if I want to make this work, I'm gonna just go for it. So I rented an apartment and just went on and did it. So I definitely know how that can drive you. So yeah, that's cool. So you're landing these high ticket clients now off of Upwork, and no more job at the agency. So it was about this point where I think we had connected, right? Because we both had awesome racing chairs, and it just kind of made sense, right? So anyways, yeah, I mean, I you came to me and started showing me like what you're doing with Upwork, and I thought it was amazing. And obviously I have a platform to bring what you're doing to, my customers, and I have kind of like a voice to do that. So that's kind of when we got together and discussed, we should really put out a course and teach other people how to do this. I mean, put it into perspective for me. How many people do you say would reach out like on Upwork looking for SEO work? Like, I don't know, like on a daily basis or hourly basis, like what would you say? Are there like 10 people, 5 people reaching out?
In terms of like people looking for SEO, like
Yeah,
help.
like saying, I need help me with my SEO.
I mean, if you go into Upwork, you can set up like your different categories, and on average, if you're like looking at that SEO category, it seems to be like on average, I'd say anywhere from like 3 is maybe high as like 7 people an hour
That's
that
crazy.
will post a job like looking for, I need help with this. And some of the stuff's going to be different, like they want different things, or some people don't know a lot, but there's a lot of people looking for help.
And we're not even talking about web design, reputation management, pay per click. Like, this is just like SEO.
Yeah, like at most I've seen like sometimes people will say like I need SEO and PPC, but it's like almost all like doing things like website audits, looking for help with like something, maybe a specific task. Like they could say, hey, I need citations. Like that's
Yeah.
obviously someone who knows what they're looking for. And then you have some people who just don't know. Like they just say, hey, I need help marketing, and let's talk. So
And yeah, one thing I noticed interesting too, as you were like showing me this stuff, is you could actually see what people are spending on Upwork as well. So it kind of can help you make a decision on like who you want to, waste your time. If you don't want to like waste your time reaching out to this person, you want to reach out to this person because they're spending money. Like Upwork shows you all those details, right?
yeah, like you can see how much people have spent, if they have a verified payment. So like that means that they actually could pay you, and that they're like connected to a payment system like PayPal. You can see like their feedback, so you really have like a good idea of who you're going to be working with, whether or not they're like new to the platform. I've worked with some people like they didn't even know how to send proposals properly. They just must have been looking for SEO help and ended up on the site and just tried to like figure it out, and they don't really know what they're doing. So you're going to get a lot of people like that, and that's kind of the beauty. So if you think about, if you were to go out there right now and like spend money on like key terms like SEO leads or something like that in Google AdWords,
Yeah.
you're going to spend, probably, I would guess it's got to be over $20 a click easy.
I would bet. Yeah.
It's going to be like insane if you were to run your own AdWords campaigns, but that's exactly what Upwork does. So that's how they're getting so many people like coming in, just basically looking for this work, because Upwork does all that advertising for you. And then they're obviously taking a percentage when, I decide to become a freelancer and work with them. They'll take a percentage of that jobs. So they're making money back from
Yeah.
utilizing all these freelancer skills.
And then you're happy because you're kind of piggybacking off of their marketing. So
Exactly.
it's a
Yeah.
win-win. Cool.
Yep.
So let me ask you, do you think someone outside of the U.S. could do this? Because you and I are in the United States. So for us, we can go create profiles. But what about people outside the United States? Like I have a lot of customers who are in the U.K. and Australia. Is this something that can be done from like anywhere?
Yeah, I mean, you definitely could, because there's actually a lot of people. I notice this a lot too. Is some of the proposals I'll see people put out like job postings in other countries. They'll say, there'll be people in Australia or in the United Kingdom, and I've had conversations, and in some ways, it's like you could cater to just about anybody. And obviously, if you're looking for people in those areas, you can do filters and look for people in other countries to match up time zones or work with people more local to your actual area. Since I know Australia, I've interviewed people and it's like I have to be up at like 6 a.m. or something.
Yeah, yeah. So what do you say to like maybe like a beginner coming into this who knows how to do SEO or maybe has some experience, but they just really haven't landed like that whale client that all the gurus out there talk about, like these giant $1,000 a month clients? What do you say to those people? Is this something that they could realistically do?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing for me was, in being honest about it, I actually bought a course like 2 years ago that it was basically based around a similar principle. And what I ended up finding was that I kind of like tried it for a little, and I was spending more time, I think at the time Upwork was actually Odesk, and
Yeah.
there's others like freelancer.com. Now you've also got like guru.com and some of these others, but I didn't really put a ton of effort into it. It was kind of like a lot of like with these products that come out all the time in the internet marketing space. I tried it for a little, and then I was just like, this doesn't work, and then I gave up. Mm-hmm. But I decided to come back to it and take it really seriously. I also talk about it, but something that you could do is like raising your prices higher and making people perceive that you're...
Yeah, the value perception.
Yep. So that's another huge thing that I think really helped, because when people come to me now, like they see that and they're like, okay, this guy like knows what he's doing, and really puts that high perception on wanting to hire me and knowing that I'm like a real professional and not just going to work for, $5 an hour or something like some of these guys that are on Upwork.
So you actually are a fan of raising your prices way up? Because I know when I hire programmers, for example, because I hire a lot off of these freelancing sites, I actually look for people who are charging upwards of $35, $50, $60 an hour, because I know that they're going to get things done the right way, and they're going to get them done a lot faster than someone I hire for $5 an hour. So that's kind of your theory on that.
Yeah, it is. And, it definitely is. Like what I found is the people that I have gotten, they came to Upwork and they hired some of those low wage people like from other countries to do their SEO. And then they just realized that like nothing's happening. They've been doing it for 3-4 months. And then now they hire me because they're like, I'm just sick and tired of all these other, and I've had that conversation with like 3 or 4 people easily, where that's the case. Like they hired these people for a low wage, or they see that they're getting pitched a lot from low wage workers, and, they come to me because they're like, wow, this guy's like serious, he's the real deal kind of thing.
Yeah, so you stand out in a way that you would think maybe wouldn't be. You would think like, oh, I'm not the lowest price, I'm not competitive, but you stand out in a good way because they perceive you as being, the go-to. You're not the cheapest, but you're the best. So
yeah, exactly. So that definitely is really important, and something I talk a lot about.
Cool. So I want to kind of dig into some specific case studies of things that you've got going on, because I know I was impressed when I kind of went through and you started showing me your account and messages that were coming in, because you were kind of sharing your screen with me and showing me these things. And one thing that really impressed me was the SEO audit that you did, where you outsourced it for, I think it was like $29, and then you sold it for like $500.
Yep.
Tell me a little bit about that, like
so
how that client came to you.
I basically had a particular client. I think they actually found me in this case, because once your profile's established, you will get some job invites.
Okay.
But they said, hey, I'm looking to basically get started in SEO, and I originally pitched it as like, let's do something monthly. But another really great thing you can do with clients is like you do something small, like even for $100 or $200, whatever it is. That's like a really good kind of open the door opportunity.
Yeah.
So I got this guy to really old website, was an insurance company. I looked them up and I knew that they were like, $1 million plus a year in revenue. So I was like, okay, like for me to throw something like a $500 website audit, that's like nothing to them. So that's exactly what I did over a phone call. And I actually used the service to go out there and just do all the work. So they came back within probably like a week and they gave me a completed report. A lot of the tools, I could have done it myself, but of course, if I could pay someone like, $30 or $50 to get it
heck
done,
yeah.
why not? So I came back and then I just recorded a quick YouTube video of me like going through the report, explaining it, and I quickly like went through their site and was just like, hey, this is bad. And that was pretty easy to do because it wasn't mobile friendly, like really old site. So that took me 20 minutes and I made, give or take after the Upwork fees, I still made over $400.
Nice. That's awesome. So I kind of see Upwork then as kind of an upside to a lot of people who are kind of getting into landing clients, because a lot of people will ask me questions. How do I accept payments? What are you using to build clients? In that case, Upwork is kind of handling everything for you. Like you don't have to go out there and find a merchant account or an invoice system. It's all kind of covered for you in Upwork in that scenario.
Yeah, you have like, you wouldn't have to deal with your own invoices. Everything is, once they send you a job, you basically just accept it. And then once you complete the work, you submit it. And then Upwork will put it into like a pending account that you'll see like pending earnings. And then after a set amount of time, it'll automatically just go right into your PayPal.
Yeah. Awesome. So I remember we were talking, because we talk a lot. For those of you guys watching, John and I, we've been, I don't know, we've probably spent a couple hours a week getting on Skype and video chatting back and forth. So we've gotten to know each other pretty well. You were telling me about this big client in Brazil that's coming up that hopefully you'll land. I don't know if there's any news on that one, but potentially a big client, right?
Yep.
You want to just share maybe just a little bit of details of that one?
Yeah, so like something else interesting, and I'll throw this right off the bat, is I haven't been as active with my proposals as of recently because I've gotten so many clients in the last month and a half that I've like slowed down.
Yeah.
But actually had a proposal that had gone out like probably over a month ago, and sometimes people will respond like way later. Like I don't know why that is, but it happens a lot.
Yeah.
And I had a company respond back that sort of for those of you listening, you might be familiar with like illegalzoom.com, where you could go register an LLC. They kind of help you go through that whole process. Had a company in Brazil that does the same thing, and they're like one of few that really does this. So nice. The way they kind of had like the intention already, and you'll find this is like, some people know what it is they want, but they're not 100%. Like I come to find out they only had like literally a one-page website, like one page indexed in Google, and that's it.
Wow.
So clearly they're going to need work.
Yeah.
To get things moving, but he still knew like, yeah, let's do keyword research and let's like audit the site and all this other stuff. So he had like some idea of what needs to be done. So I start the job out, which I did land it for like $250, where nice. I'll just go and use a couple quick tools like Ahrefs or some other stuff to do some audit work. And then I already told him like a price of $1,500. And the reason I felt more confident to like hit that higher price point was because they charge something like, it could be as high as $6,000 to help somebody get registered.
So they have like a high lifetime value for their clients.
Yeah. So like if they're charging that kind of money to their clients, like, my charges should be equivalent to the fact that I'm going to help them drive that kind of business,
Right. Yeah. If you're too cheap, then they're not going to take you seriously because,
yeah, exactly.
It's the value perception again. So awesome.
Yep. And I've done that a lot with, I just had a law firm, to give another example, where we did a one-time job for $500 where I helped them build like 10 virtual office Google My Business listings, and they expressed interest in now ranking those, so now I just charge them $1,000 to do 2 of 10 of them. If it works out on the 2, now they'll probably come back and say, yeah, let's do 8 more. And if it works on those, they'll probably go register even more virtual businesses. So it could really skyrocket,
You could be up to $5,000 a month off of just that little tripwire. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Outside of outsourcing costs, of course, but
right. Yeah, that's awesome, man. Good work.
Yeah.
So obviously we put together a course, and that's kind of why we're doing this interview. And I'm going to drop a link below the video for them to pick it up. But yeah, I hope that everyone enjoyed this interview. Do you have any final words or any final advice to someone making a decision on whether this is for them?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I would say, if you're truly interested in doing client SEO, there are obviously pros and cons to it, but if you're interested in working with people and making some serious money, this is a huge industry right now. There's a lot of courses out there, and I'd say of all the different things that, getting clients is probably one of the hardest. If you actually spend the time to really like work at this and get your Upwork profile going and take it seriously and not just look at this like some other product, some other like small thing that you just pick up every week. Take it seriously and put some real effort into it. Do proposals every day, which doesn't cost you any money. Your Upwork profile is free. You can upgrade. It's like $10 and you can do more proposals, but, do a consistent amount every day. And like, I guarantee you got to start with some small jobs, but eventually that will lead to more.
Awesome, man. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it. And I'm excited to see people jumping in and getting success with landing their first big client and even small client. I mean, anything is good. So
yeah, exactly.
awesome, man. Have a good one.
Yep. Thanks for having me.
Thanks.